Welcome to Neural Newscast. I am Lydia Holmes. Today, we are looking at a fascinating shift in how we spend our time. In a world that feels increasingly automated and digital, there is a movement growing in the opposite direction. People are intentionally seeking out, what experts are calling analog islands.
It is a compelling trend, Lydia. I am Martin Caldwell. While you might expect older generations to be the ones clinging to the past, it is actually Gen Z and millennials who are leading this charge into the tactile. They are looking for something they can actually hold in their hands, whether that is a knitting needle, a gear shifter, or even a fountain pen.
It is almost like a rebellion against the ephemera of the internet, you know? Pamela Paul, who wrote about the things we have lost to the web, says these younger generations feel a certain wistfulness. Because so much of their lives happen on a screen, they are yearning for activities that do not just, evaporate into the cloud once they are finished.
Right, and that yearning is very clear in the world of personal communication. Despite the rising cost of postage and the ease of a quick text, groups like Random Acts of Kindness are flourishing. Megan Evans started this group 10 years ago, and it has grown to over 15,000 members. These are people who find deep meaning in the physical act of putting pen to paper.
And it is not just about the message itself, but the intentionality. One member, Billy Jo Dieter, sends out at least 100 cards a month. She calls it a dying art, but she is convinced that the physical touch of a card makes a connection that a digital heart icon just cannot replicate. It is the weight of the paper and the unique character of someone's handwriting.
Exactly. That appreciation for the physical extends to the way we get around, too. While the automotive industry is racing towards self-driving technology and software-defined vehicles, a small but dedicated group of young people is determined to keep the manual transmission alive. Fewer than 1% of new cars sold in the U.S. have a stick shift now, but for some, that is exactly why they want one.
I loved the story of the Sohi brothers in Silicon Valley. They are driving a 1994 Jeep Wrangler in the middle of Tesla territory. Even though they grew up with video games and high-tech gadgets, they wanted to master the clutch. They say it makes them more present. You cannot just zone out when you are the one responsible for every gear change.
It is about the relationship between the human and the machine. There is a specific design history and craftsmanship in those older mechanical systems that younger people are beginning to respect. They want to understand how things work, rather than just clicking a button and letting an algorithm handle the rest. It is a form of mindfulness, really.
Speaking of things we thought were going away, let us talk about vinyl. It is the ultimate comeback story. In 2006, vinyl sales were at an all-time low, but for the last 2 years, we have seen around 43 million albums sold annually. And Martin, it is not just the baby boomers rebuilding their old collections.
Totally. You see 24-year-olds like Carson Bispels who now have collections of over 100 records. He describes the sound as lush and genuine. There is a permanence to it. When you put a record on, you are making a commitment to listen to that artist from start to finish. You aren't just skipping through a playlist while doing 5 other things.
There is also a social element that we often forget. Carson mentioned how much he enjoys the small talk at the record store. It is a physical hub for community. You meet people, you see what they are buying, and you have a real conversation. Digital platforms try to mimic this with algorithms, but it lacks that human spark.
Ultimately, these analog islands provide a knowable past in a very tumultuous present. As Martin Bispels puts it, the past gives comfort, because you can define it and remember it the way you want. In a world that is moving faster than ever, these slow, tactile hobbies are a way to anchor ourselves.
It seems that the more high-tech our lives become, the more we will value these low-tech escapes. It is a return to humanity, one record, one card, and one gear shift at a time. Thank you for joining us on Neural Newscast. I am Lydia Holmes.
And I am Martin Caldwell. We will see you next time as we continue to explore the intersection of our digital and physical worlds. Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com.